How do we use the internet in education today? I want to share with you a premise before we begin this conversation, this discussion, on something that I think we all as educators need to simply accept and not challenge. And that's the following. The following quote I take from the National Technology Plan, which was released in January 2005, and it states this. Today's schools are faced with a difficult dilemma that pits a student body that has grown up immersed in technology against a teaching faculty that is less agile with the tools of the trade. The National Technology Plan, released in January 2005, went so far as to admit that, quote, today's students of almost any age are far ahead of their teachers in computer literacy. They prefer to access subject information on the internet, where it is more abundant, more accessible, and more up-to-date. Accepting that concept, we acknowledge the fact that our students prefer to utilize mobile devices to seek out information. And more importantly, our students captivate themselves and engage themselves in activities outside of our classrooms with the internet and with mobile devices. If we take this into consideration, we have to acknowledge as educators that we need to capture our students' attention while they are utilizing these devices, since they're using them so often. And the question here is, how do we use these devices? How do we call upon the internet to inadvertently engage our students in learning while they're also enjoying using these devices that they traditionally use for entertainment purposes or socialization purposes? And the answers are that there's a lot of ways. They're not all black and white. Some take thinking outside of the box. But the bottom line is acknowledging that our students can utilize these devices, and we as educators have to find out ways that we can use these devices for those purposes. And before we go into examples of ways that we can use these devices, I want you to take something into consideration. When the internet first started, it was static. What I mean by static is content was contributed by companies or professional authors. Content was provided for us and we were able to view it, maybe download it, and after you download it, maybe manipulate it a little bit. But for the most part, it was there, and what was on the internet is on the internet, and what's not on the internet is not on the internet. That started to change as some of our online service providers that we spoke about before, such as AOL, MSN, Prodigy, started providing web hosting space for their users to upload their own web pages. And a lot of the tools were very simple to use. You didn't have to have much knowledge of how to program and how to set up web pages in order to take advantage of those resources provided by your service providers. But then, for the most part, still, it was only tools of the trade for nerds and things of that nature. We call that the standard read web. What we've transitioned to today is a new concept, the concept of a read/write web. Think of a CD. What's on a CD when you buy it from a store is the only thing that can be on a CD. But then we started to be able to buy CDRs, where we could record our own music and put it on a CD, or take tracks from different CDs and manipulate them and put them together, and hey, we made our own, now that's what I call music CD, without having to pay the fee necessarily. Shortly thereafter, we gained the ability to have a read-write CD, where we could write to a CD, read it, for example, put music on a CD, put it in our cars, listen to it, and then also be able to take it back and say, I don't want to use a new disc, I'm just going to rewrite onto this disc and add some more content and things of that nature. That's how the internet has evolved. It started where what's on the internet is on the internet. Can't be manipulated. Then it started to transition to, well, now you can add some things to the internet, but you really couldn't, go back and forth. And now we have a collaborative internet where it's as easy to take something off the internet as it is to put it on the internet in terms of content, pictures, videos, and things of that nature. Now, of course, there's always a caveat. What's on the internet is always on the internet, and we won't really touch on that in this class. But for the most part, the point to take away from this is it's very easy to contribute. and it's very easy to collaborate based on what's already on the internet. Just think of looking at a website today. If you go to a website like JCPenney, a website like Amazon.com, eBay, any website, even as simple as Jewel Osco now has a community forum. You have the ability as a consumer, as a browser of the web, to give comments on different products so that when people are looking to buy an item, they can get user feedback before they buy it. See how it worked in your instance. And while they may not know anything about you, if there's 1,000 comments and maybe there's a star feature where it says 5 stars for great and 2 stars for and 1 star for stay away from, just by having 1,000 comments with stars, and they can determine that, 1,000 people on average are saying this is a 5-star product. Okay, it's a good thing. It helps them make the right purchase and make the right decision when they're going about their daily lives and product lookings. Well, we take that and we can use that use that concept in an educational sense as well. And what I want you to do now is I want you to transition to a clip that's going to talk about a school. Now, this is taken purposely from a 2002 clip by an organization called Edutopia. And Edutopia kind of talks about what's right and what's wrong in public education. And I was going to follow that by saying public education today, but it is an older clip. I want you to take a look what this school was doing in 2002 with the internet. Before the internet was very read-write, before adding web pages was easy, before you were able, or before internet really expanded everywhere. Take a look at this clip and see what they're doing. Take a look specifically at how they do morning announcements. Take a look at how they update parents so they know what's going on in the classroom. And take a look how they collaborate with students. And then take them into consideration while you think about that quote that I'm going to read one more time, which says, "Today's students of almost any age are far ahead of their teachers in computer literacy." I don't 100% agree with that. But anyway, they prefer to access subject information on the internet, where it is more abundant, more accessible, and more up to date. Keep that in mind, watch the next clip, and then look at our third clip.